Water is life's most basic need. But today, the world is in crisis over water. More than 3/4 of the world faces severe water scarcity, including India. Though 70% of our earth is covered with water, we can use less than 1% of this. The rest is salt water or frozen. Rainwater is plenty, but more than half of it is wasted as it flows into the sea. The world's population is 7.2 billion, which will increase to 8.3 billion by 2030, which means our demand for water will go up by 40%. Today, we are already faced with climate change and uncertain rains. Increase in demand for water in agriculture will only reduce the supply of water to industries. More than half of our industries already face water shortage or pay exorbitant prices to make up for it. This will raise production costs, costs of raw materials and commodities. Our fragile global economy will soon head to a crash that will be impossible to correct. Let us not wait till it's too late. We can address this severe crisis today. The best way to achieve this is through climate-smart watershed development. A watershed is a natural reservoir, an area of land surrounded by mountains that catches rainwater and drains it into a large natural water body. Trenches are dug from uphill to downhill to slow down the flow of rainwater. This holds back the water on the soil for a little longer, enabling it to seep underground, thus in turn increasing the level of groundwater. This also improves the quality of the soil. Trees are planted on either side of these trenches to arrest soil erosion and evaporation of the water. This also helps increase green cover. In 2013, when Maharashtra was facing drought, the villages that had watershed development did
particularly changes in rainfall and rise in temperature. This tool is called Co-Drive, which is community-driven vulnerability evaluation, which actually helps communities to assess their capacity, their resilience levels, as well as to help them to identify ways to reduce their vulnerability. In other words, help them identify measures that can help them to adapt to climate change. So we developed this tool called Co-Drive, which is freely available on the net. You can check it out at www.wotr.org. And it is supported by a software, which is a cloud-based software, which people can use, upload data and get a full analytical report of the vulnerability as well as resilience levels of a community. So that was first, because if you want to adapt, you need to know what you are vulnerable to, then develop plans. The next thing is we continued doing watershed development, but this time we did it from the perspective of hydrology. How is climate change going to affect hydrological flows? And therefore, how should we be doing the various vegetative, mechanical and hydraulic structures that we did before? How should we be doing it differently, if at all? That's one. Secondly, we began to focus more on biodiversity, because agriculture and most of the livelihoods in rural areas depend on nature. And if nature is impacted adversely by climate variability, like extreme weather events, then we had to also address the issue of biodiversity. And lastly, we focused a lot on adaptive sustainable agriculture, because that is, in India, 68% of agriculture depends on rain, and 60% of our people depend on good agriculture for a livelihood. So we changed the way we did agriculture. We started moving now into what we call environmentally friendly, resilient agriculture, or climate smart agriculture. Now that means what? Number one.
I'm Marcella D'Souza from the Watershed Organization Trust, India. My organization has been working in natural resources management since a long, long time, since 1989 basically. It's because we found that land degradation and water scarcity were reasons why what kept people poor. And we needed to get the whole community to work together to regenerate their lands. This was one of the reasons also for the various conflicts that were taking place in the village. However, after we got the people to integrate and work together on a very systematic technical approach for watershed development, we found huge successes. Agriculture had improved, there was no more water scarcity, and people had hope. But sometime around the 2000s, we started observing very weird weather changes. The monsoons were being pushed, sometimes beginning in August, sometimes in September. We had not heard of it before. The rains were erratic and at any time. There were long dry spells and agriculture was being seriously affected. We then had ecologic
Water has trained more than 350,000 people in integrated watershed development from 27 states of India and 62 countries across the world. Their developmental work has impacted over 3,600 villages in India, impacting the lives of more than 1.8 million people. If you partner with water, you can adopt a village, or a watershed, or a scheme. The team will send you detailed updates and reports. You can see the positive impact that you have helped create. The water crisis is here and now. The impact is far and wide. It is inescapable, but not uncontrollable. By managing water efficiently and conserving every drop, you not only address the water issue, you address an environmental issue. You address a health issue. You address an employment issue. You address an economic issue. And we all must take responsibility for it. Because water is everybody's business.